So what do you see out there today, Ryan?
Good energy. Our numbers are good right now in terms of guys who got on the roster comparatively to a year ago. Guys flying around. Intensity was good. Communication was good. A lot of recall from the guys that have been here within the scheme. So excited to see the tape. But it's just day one.
Just for you, year two, how much different is it to go in with knowing faces and names and things like that?
Yeah, I mean it's night and day difference. You know the roster. You know what you are trying to accomplish. You're not trying to figure things out. You know what I mean? We got to keep most of the staff as well, so there's some cohesion there. So just in a much more, I don't want to say comfortable, but a much more educated place.
Same vein. What have you seen from the players now that they know what to expect from this and you guys?
Yeah, same. The same. They're educated as well. They know the standard. They know they're not figuring out what the routine is. They're speaking the same language. They're holding each other accountable a lot more than what we saw a year ago already, and so that is positive. You're starting to see leaders emerge. At a much sooner time in the calendar. So all that's positive. But again, it's just day one in shorts and t-shirts.
What do you think of any of the portal guys, Ryan? You got a lot of new guys out there.
Yeah, just from what I've seen from workouts and again just day one in helmets, we're seeing what we saw on tape, and some of them have sort of exceeded expectations, and so that's always good. The thing I like about all of them though is they all got a chip on their shoulder, and they've all came and put their head down and went to work.
Speaking of chip on your shoulder, do you think the team is playing with a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder, especially going into a new year with a very tough schedule, expanded conference, and with the way you guys finished last year?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, coaches, players, old and new players alike, everybody's got a chip on their shoulder. The guys that have been here, we all went 4-8 a year ago. And, guys in the portal, they were in the portal for a reason, and they've got something to prove as well. And as much as we don't pay attention to social media and stuff like that, you still hear it, and you still hear, 18 out of 18. So, of course, we got a chip on our shoulder.
How do you walk that line, Ryan, in spring practice? You got to get work in, but you got to keep these guys healthy for the fall. Where's that line drawn?
Yeah, you got to be smart with the reps, which is why, again, I'm glad we got the guys we got. We got about 102 guys on the roster right now, so reps will be spread evenly. A lot more walkthrough time with some of the newer guys that we think might play. But you still, like you say, you still got to get work. You still got to get timing. We got to learn how to practice against each other while still playing tough and physical, keeping each other up and recognizing that we're playing Purdue on Purdue, and you're not winning games right now, but you can definitely make it harder if you're not playing smart.
How's Hudson Card changed?
Man, much more relaxed. Physically, I think this time a year ago he was 190 pounds. He's 212 now. It's his locker room. I think the guys really respect him as a leader, and so you're starting to see him be more vocal. Year two in a system for a quarterback, just a much more understanding and command of the offense. He is looking like QB1. You know what I mean? And so that's good to see. I'm glad he's here.
Speaking of leaders, you have a freshman All-American safety that these guys respect, and based on what he did on the field, but it seemed like he took control of the guys in his group.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, the work he did on the field and the way he carried himself in the locker room, you have to listen. You're a fool not to, and so I'm glad that he's comfortable stepping into a real leadership role and being more vocal, and definitely he's got every right to have the confidence that he has.
Can you kind of speak on the unveiling of his banner and what it not means just for the program, but for him as well?
Yeah, it's a great story, right? Like you got a freshman from right down the street who stays home and accomplishes what he accomplished. 106 tackles and 6 interceptions. That's crazy. And for him to be a freshman and to carry himself the way he does, his legacy will now be etched in Purdue history forever. And to do that in year one is remarkable. And the scary thing is that he's only going to get better. It's just a start.
For you personally, did you kind of get a chance to catch your breath for the first time this offseason, and then just kind of clarity have you?
No, there's no catching. You know, I'll catch my breath when I retire. There's always work to do. Whether it's, you know, right now it's, you know, trying to raise money in the collective and recruiting and trying to be innovative with what we're doing schematically and finding ways to creatively allow for opportunities to gain chemistry with new faces and all of those things, while still being a husband and a dad and being a head football coach. So definitely not catching my breath, but you know, I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, what I'm meant to do, and where I'm meant to be, and so I'm enjoying every moment of it.
Hey Ryan, two positions that probably have seen the biggest influx of talent: the O-line and the receiving core. Talk about those. You got 4 portal linemen, 3 portal receivers, 2 JUCO offensive linemen. Just what you see from those guys, and comment on that influx of talent.
Yeah, you know, up front definitely got bigger. You know, like you said, we took six guys, and one of the high school guys is here as well. And you know, I think the smallest one is 6'4", 315, and so definitely beefed up up front. What I've seen from those guys is, you know, not only they're big, they're also athletic. I think Coach Johnson's done a really good job of getting some cohesion there, and also, you know, Gus and Marcus Bowe and Musa sort of taking control and running that group. You know, at wideout, like C.J. Smith is legit fast, like Olympic type fast. So it's fun to watch him run around. You know, Cam Brown is smooth. He's fluid. He's a vet. You can tell he's played and logged a lot of minutes. So you know, it's just first day in helmets, but you gotta be excited about the potential of both those groups.
Jamal Edrin looks like he's coming back
He's
into
close,
form.
yeah.
So
You know, I don't think I've seen somebody recover as fast as he has, you know, from that type of injury. But it's not a surprise because the way he's worked. You know, he lives in the training room, lives in the weight room. You know, didn't go home for any of the breaks, just to rehab. He's a guy that really loves football, and it shows. And I can't wait to get him out here, you know, full go.
Any specific goals you're hoping to accomplish this spring?
Yeah, you know, one, just for our team to learn and master the techniques and fundamentals of what we're trying to do from a schematic standpoint, to develop depth and chemistry, and you know, the final goal is to just stay healthy coming out of spring.
How do you feel about the rush-in spot? You know, Nick's gone, I guess Jenkins is going to be inside. Just got some portal guys there too.
Yeah, you know, they look the part. They're long, they're athletic, they're strong. You know, with CJ and Sheeta and Jira, you know, those guys they're what you want in rush ins. Will Helt is in year 2 as well, and you know, he walks in the locker room, he don't look like a sophomore, and so I'm excited about that group. You know, obviously, you know, Nick and his production you're not going to replace that with one player, unless you got a really big collective. So. But, you know, those guys are all working and communicating and diving into what we're doing schematically.
Will you be able to figure anything out with special teams this spring?
Absolutely. You know, like I said, we got a lot of guys that will be here in the fall. And so, you know, learning the techniques that we're preaching from a punt and kickoff and KOR and punt return standpoint, you find out a lot. And then we'll have some competition with the specialists in terms of kicking and punting come the fall.
Where are you from a standpoint of the collective now compared to when you came in?
It's, you know, leaps and bounds. Like, we wouldn't have been able to sign any of the guys that we signed in the portal a year ago. Like, wouldn't even be able to get on the phone with them. And, you know, I'm not saying that we were the highest bidder by any means, or not, I wouldn't say bidder, but the highest collective opportunity. But because of the strength of the collective and what we have available, we were able to get in conversation, and then when you get them on campus, Purdue speaks for itself, and the facilities speak for themselves. And I think the atmosphere here is unique and attractive to, you know, guys that are 19 to 22.
Why moving Kydron Jenkins to inside linebacker?
You know, for us as a team, I think it helps the inside backer room. You know, we don't have a lot of depth there. And for him personally, you know, he was ultra productive as a rush end. But I think for him to add value at the next level, you know, when he's out on the edge, he's a little undersized, but as soon as he steps back, he becomes a big athletic linebacker. And so I think that was one of the reasons why, you know, we were able to retain KJ, and you know, him and Coach Kane have been sort of keeping up to speed with what we're trying to get done from a schematic standpoint. So I'm excited to see, you know, how that room shakes out from a competitive standpoint.
Who's the number 2 quarterback?
You know, if we had to go today, it would probably be like Northwestern, right? You got Ryan Brown and Bennett sort of battling. Maybe Ryan has a, you know, we got to watch the tape, but you know, that number 2 spot will probably go all the way through camp. But we got some talented guys there.
Health-wise, some guys were in red today. Can you talk about guys who may be limited this spring, maybe guys who are out totally this spring?
Yeah, you know, guys that, you know, had sort of end-of-year surgeries will be out. We got some guys that kind of got dinged up just during the winter workouts with some, you know, soft tissue, minor stuff that will trickle into the practices here soon. But you know, overall, we're pretty healthy comparatively.
Awesome.